Story 1. It was a warm summer evening when I decided to go camping with a group of friends. We chose a secluded spot deep within the woods, far away from civilization. As the sun set and darkness enveloped the forest, an eerie silence settled over our camp. That night, while sitting around the crackling fire, we started hearing faint whispers carried by the wind. At first, we dismissed it as our imagination playing tricks on us, but the whispers grew louder and more distinct. It was as if someone, or something, was trying to communicate with us. Terrified, we scanned the surroundings, searching for the source of the haunting whispers. Suddenly, a figure emerged from the shadows, a pale, spectral figure with glowing eyes. It moved toward us, its voice a chilling echo in our ears. We scrambled to pack our belongings and fled the campsite, but the whispers pursued us relentlessly. They echoed through the trees, tormenting our minds and fueling our fear. It felt like an eternity until we finally reached the safety of our car, where the whispers faded into the night. To this day, I can't forget those bone-chilling whispers that followed us from the heart of the woods. I often wonder what would have happened if we hadn't escaped in time. The memory still sends shivers down my spine. Story 2. Growing up, I had a collection of antique dolls that I treasured. One doll, in particular, stood out, a beautiful porcelain creation with delicate features and a captivating smile. Little did I know that this doll would bring terror into my life. Strange occurrences began happening soon after I brought the doll home. At first, it was subtle, a misplaced item here, an unexplained noise there. But as time passed, the doll's presence became more menacing. Late at night, I would hear its porcelain footsteps on the wooden floor, and occasionally, I caught glimpses of it moving on its own. Each morning, I would find the doll in a different position, its eyes fixated on me with an unsettling intensity. Then, the nightmares started. Vivid and horrifying, they portrayed the doll as a malevolent force, seeking to harm me and those around me. I couldn't escape its haunting gaze, even in my dreams. Desperate to rid myself of this terrifying presence, I consulted paranormal experts. They confirmed what I had suspected: the doll was possessed by a vengeful spirit. Their attempts to exorcise it were unsuccessful, and I was left with no choice but to seal the doll in a box and bury it deep in the ground. To this day, I wonder if the doll still rests in its hidden grave, or if it has found a way to escape its earthly prison. The memory of its haunting presence lingers, a chilling reminder of the evil that can reside within the most innocent-looking objects. Story 3. Late one stormy night, I found myself driving along a desolate highway. Rain poured relentlessly, reducing visibility to a mere blur of headlights and reflections. The radio crackled with static, adding to the eerie atmosphere. As I rounded a bend, my headlights illuminated a figure standing by the side of the road, a young woman, soaked to the bone. Her hair plastered to her face, she beckoned for help, her eyes filled with desperation. Against my better judgment, I stopped and offered her a ride. She climbed into the back seat, her presence sending a chill down my spine. She muttered incomprehensible words under her breath, her gaze fixed straight ahead. Attempting to break the tension, I asked her name. The response was a ghostly whisper that sent shivers down my spine. I glanced into the rearview mirror, only to find an empty back seat. She had vanished into thin air. Panicking, I pulled over and searched the car, but there was no sign of the mysterious woman. Trembling, I continued my journey, haunted by the unsettling encounter. I couldn't shake the feeling that I had come face to face with a spirit from the other side, seeking solace or revenge. Story 4. During a visit to an old antique shop, I stumbled upon a dusty box filled with vintage photographs. Among them was a peculiar picture, an eerie group portrait of people long deceased. Their eyes seemed to follow me, and a sense of unease washed over me. Against my better judgment, I purchased the photograph and brought it home. Almost immediately, strange things started happening. Objects moved on their own, and disembodied voices echoed through the house. The haunting seemed centered around the photograph. Late one night, unable to bear the supernatural occurrences any longer, I decided to burn the picture in an attempt to break the curse. As the flames consumed the photograph, the room filled with a frigid gust of wind, and a blood-curdling scream pierced the air. To my horror, the faces in the photograph contorted into expressions of agony, as if the souls trapped within had been released. The terror was overwhelming, and I fled the house, leaving the burning remnants behind. Years later, I still shudder at the memory of the photograph and its malevolent power. I often wonder if it found its way into someone else's hands, continuing its cycle of fear and torment. Story 5. Moving into an old house was exciting but unsettling. The previous owners had warned us about strange happenings in the basement, but we dismissed their claims as mere superstition. Little did we know that the basement held a horrifying secret. Late at night, we would hear scratching sounds emanating from below, as if something was trying to claw its way out. The basement door would creak open on its own, and an icy breeze would drift up the stairs, sending chills down our spines. One evening, curiosity got the better of me, and I mustered the courage to descend into the depths of the basement. The air grew heavy, and a foul stench filled my nostrils. As I explored, I noticed strange symbols etched into the walls, a language unknown to me. Suddenly, a guttural growl echoed through the darkness, and I felt an unseen force push me against the wall. Panic consumed me, and I raced back upstairs, vowing to never venture into the basement again. The entity trapped within that ominous space continued to torment us. Shadows danced along the walls, whispers filled the air, and objects would move of their own accord. We realized that we were not alone in that house, and it was a presence we couldn't escape. Story 6. Urban legends swirled around the old asylum on the outskirts of town, a place that had been abandoned for decades. The decrepit building, with its broken windows and crumbling walls, exuded an aura of malevolence. Curiosity eventually got the better of me, and I decided to explore its haunted halls. As I stepped inside, the air grew thick with a suffocating silence. Shadows danced along the walls, and an oppressive sense of dread settled over me. It felt like the asylum itself was alive, watching my every move. As I ventured deeper into the asylum, whispers echoed through the empty corridors. I could almost make out the tortured voices of former patients, lost souls forever trapped within these walls. Then, I heard a distant sound, a low, unearthly moan that sent shivers down my spine. The hair on the back of my neck stood on end as I realized I was not alone. Eyes stared at me from the darkness, glowing with an otherworldly intensity. In a panic, I sprinted toward the exit, but the asylum seemed to shift and distort, leading me deeper into its heart. Desperation consumed me as I realized I was trapped, at the mercy of the tormented spirits that called this place home. It took hours of wandering, with the echoes of screams and cries haunting my every step, before I finally stumbled upon the exit. Gasping for breath, covered in cold sweat, I swore never to return to that accursed asylum again. Story 7. During a road trip through the countryside, I came across a small, seemingly idyllic town nestled among rolling hills. The place exuded an air of tranquility, with its quaint houses and friendly locals. But as night fell, the town revealed its chilling secret. Curiosity led me to explore the town's outskirts after dark. As I wandered, the atmosphere grew increasingly eerie. The flickering streetlights cast long, distorted shadows, and an unnatural silence hung in the air. Then, the town started to change. Buildings crumbled before my eyes, fading into dust and nothingness. The once cheerful locals vanished, leaving behind a ghostly emptiness. It was as if the town itself was being swallowed by an unseen force. Terrified, I tried to flee, but the town seemed to shift around me, trapping me within its boundaries. Panic set in as I realized I was trapped in a place that existed between the realms of the living and the dead. Hours stretched into what felt like an eternity as I desperately searched for an escape. Finally, as dawn broke, the town started to reassemble itself, as if it was regaining its form. I stumbled out of the vanishing town, vowing to never speak of the horror I had witnessed. Story 8. In my childhood home, a mysterious mirror hung on the wall of my bedroom. Its ornate frame seemed to hold a dark secret, and its reflection held more than mere images. One night, as I gazed into the mirror, the reflection twisted and contorted, showing me a grotesque version of myself. Its eyes were filled with malice, and a wicked smile stretched across its face. I recoiled in horror, but the mirror's hold on me was unrelenting. The sinister reflection haunted my dreams, tormenting me with visions of unspeakable horror. It whispered in my ear, urging me to give in to its malevolent desires. I could feel it slowly devouring my sanity, inch by agonizing inch. Desperate to break free, I sought the help of a renowned spiritualist. Together, we performed a ritual to sever the connection between me and the mirror. As the final incantation echoed through the room, the mirror shattered, releasing me from its clutches. But even now, I catch glimpses of that sinister reflection in other mirrors, a chilling reminder of the darkness that lurks within us all. Story 9. On a quiet evening stroll through the park, I stumbled upon a hidden section obscured by overgrown trees and bushes. Curiosity got the better of me, and I pushed through the foliage, revealing a forgotten playground frozen in time. The swing swayed gently in the breeze, as if beckoning me to join in the forgotten fun. The rusted roundabout creaked eerily, and the faded colors of the slide seemed to whisper stories of joyful laughter long past. As I explored, the atmosphere shifted. The once playful surroundings became twisted and warped. The swing swung violently, reaching great heights on their own accord. The roundabout spun with a sickening speed, defying all laws of physics. The slides turned into sinister chutes, leading to an unknown darkness. A sense of dread washed over me as I realized I was not alone in this phantom playground. Glimpses of ghostly children playing in tattered clothes flickered at the corner of my vision. Their laughter, distorted and haunting, filled the air. With my heart pounding in my chest, I sprinted out of the playground, leaving the ghosts of innocence behind. That night, I slept fitfully, haunted by the lingering echoes of spectral laughter. Story 10. Nestled deep in the heart of the forest stood a weathered cabin, its worn exterior a testament to years of abandonment. Locals warned of the curse that plagued the cabin, whispering tales of tragedy and inexplicable events. Intrigued, I decided to spend a night within its cursed walls. As darkness blanketed the forest, I lit a feeble candle and settled in. The wind howled outside, rattling the windows, and a bone-chilling cold permeated the cabin. Shadows danced on the walls, their movements unnatural and menacing. Soon, the cabin came alive with ghostly activity. Phantom footsteps echoed through the corridors, and anguished whispers filled the air. Objects levitated and crashed to the ground, shattering the eerie silence. As the night wore on, a sense of malevolence grew, suffocating me with its presence. I felt eyes watching me from the shadows, unseen hands grazing my skin. The spirits within the cabin were toying with my sanity, enjoying every moment of my torment. Daybreak offered a sliver of respite. As sunlight streamed through the cabin's broken windows, the paranormal activity ceased. I stumbled out of the cursed cabin, grateful to be free from its clutches. But the memory of that haunted night lingers, a constant reminder that some places are forever tainted by darkness and despair.